who do you want around you? Like, who do you want to be with you? And the things that you don't like, you have to cut them off. And too often we drag out relationships where we're dating the bad guy, we're dating the girl that's mad at us, we fight all the time, and year 2 becomes year 4, year 4 becomes year 6, and then you lost your good years.
We are Gold Ivy.
Our mission is to empower you to own and unleash your truth.
Stories of resiliency are gold, and ivy grows in hard places.
Those hard places are what create space for light to shine through.
You decide what works for your daily life and how to transform our lessons into your gold.
This is Ivy Unleashed,
a Gold Ivy production. Today, we have a guest that is saving the planet. Literally. I don't want to spoil his plans on how he's going to accomplish it, but Brooke and I had such a great time getting an inside look of how Dan Fleyshman's brain works. If you don't know who Dan Fleyshman is yet, we are so happy to introduce you to a great man making a massive impact. Just a little background on Dan. He is the youngest founder of a publicly traded company in history. This man is an angel investor in 43 companies, holds the world record for the world's largest toy drive, and hosts the #1 entrepreneur podcast, The Money Mondays. He's also a new dad. You'll hear how excited we were to meet Dan and learn about his big life and business, but more importantly, we learned about his big heart. We are really excited for you, the listener, to hear directly from Dan how he handles responding to 800 texts a day, his passion around building the right network, and ultimately his plans for making this world a better place. But before we jump in, let's hear from our incredible sponsors, 2 game changers we hope that you are enjoying in 2025.
Hey everyone, Brooke here. One of my biggest goals for 2025 is to improve my energy, and I know I'm not alone in that. I also know I'm not alone in what I'm about to say next. Every morning when I wake up, the first thing I look forward to is my morning cup of coffee. What I don't look forward to is how much I rely on it to get me through the day and the stomach upset and crashes that come with it. I know it's hard on my hormones, energy, and stress levels, but man, is it a hard habit to break. Can anyone else relate? I want quick and easy, and I want energy. Saying goodbye completely to caffeine is out of the question for me, but trying it in a new way, that I'm open to. So let me tell you about my new obsession, Everyday Dose. Would you believe me if I told you my new morning cup of energy includes the following, and all in one simple scoop? We've got L-theanine, an amino acid that works to increase focus, balance insulin levels, metabolism, and lower stress and cortisol. We've got low acidity coffee extract, finally coffee that doesn't give me a stomach ache. Collagen protein to improve my gut health, skin, and nails. Chaga, a type of mushroom that supports immune system. And my favorite, lion's mane, a natural nootropic that helps reduce brain fog and boost my mood. In addition to it being the easiest and most effective morning routine, it's free of artificial sweeteners, additives, mycotoxins, and mold. I feel at ease knowing what's going in my body, all while feeling energized, calm, and focused all day. Check out their coffee starter kit. It comes with free gifts every month like a frother, gunmetal spoon, breathwork app, and more. Join Andrew and myself as we start our year and all 365 days with Everyday Dose. Visit everydaydose.com/goldivy and get your coffee starter kit delivered straight to your door. Use our code GOLDIVY to get up to 30% off your first order.
Who wants to know what I discovered that's an absolute game changer with my hormones, stress level, and quality of my sleep? I am not one to talk about supplements, but after learning all about magnesium, I have to fill you in. In May of last year, I tested my hormones and my doctor explained to me that most women are deficient in magnesium, how important magnesium is, and how the brand of magnesium matters. First, magnesium is involved in hundreds of biochemical reactions in your body. Cortisol regulation, take magnesium. Better sleep, magnesium. Muscle soreness and recovery, magnesium. Combat depression and anxiety, magnesium. The list of magnesium's benefits go well beyond those examples. I asked for the best brand of magnesium and my doctor said hands down, Smidge. She prefers Smidge because it's super clean and made in small batches. No fillers or common allergens and non-GMO. Smidge's magnesium is made with a premium form of magnesium called glycinate complex. After taking the 100 milligram capsule of Smidge Evening Magnesium every night for just a week, I noticed how much better I felt in the morning. Melatonin and other sleep aids can make me groggy or give me weird dreams. Smidge's magnesium has improved my energy levels, reduced my anxiety, and my digestive health has never been better. I do my best to take it every single night to keep reaping all the benefits. I'm telling you, Smidge Magnesium is a game changer. The majority of adult women are deficient in magnesium, and we don't want you to be one of them. To experience the health benefits of Smidge Evening Magnesium as soon as possible, go to getsmidge.com or find the link in the show notes and be sure to use code GOLDIV10 for a 10% discount. That's getsmidge.com and code GOLDIV10 at checkout, and let us know how great Smidge Magnesium makes you feel as well. And now to this episode of the Ivy Unleashed podcast. Welcome back to Ivy Unleashed. Brooke and I are in awe right now. We are sitting with someone that is absolutely changing the world, that we met through our buddy Roger. Shout out Roger for connecting us with the one and only Dan Fleyshman. Welcome to Ivy Unleashed.
Thank you for having me.
We are not going to get into your bio because I think it would take the whole hour. We already have an introduction for you. And what we want to know, we want to get right to the point. You know, this is a mental health podcast and you do so much, Dan, and we're going to unpack all of those things. But our biggest question just to start is, what are your main values and non-negotiables you have in place that really protect your energy so that you can do all of these big things that you're doing?
So I don't work with bad people under any circumstance for any amount of money. It's really important because no matter what happens, it always ends badly. So no matter what they offer you, what they promise you, it's just a very tough spot. So I'm very protective of who I work with, no matter what. I also don't deal with people that are rude. They can be nice to me because they're faking it or because I work with them or because I pay them. But if they're rude to other people, that's just not my thing. And so I try to just avoid bad people. I guess that's going to be the answer for all parts of it.
Yeah. And day to day, as you're walking through your life, like I can't even imagine what your schedule looks like day to day. How are you caring for yourself, for your mental health, for your body? Like, how are you managing that as you're getting all these requests and ideas and you're so creative in your brain and you're executing? Like, how are you caring for yourself in the midst of all this?
Staying calm in the chaos. I know that every morning I wake up, I'm going to be putting out fires. Mm-hmm. People are going to be asking me for things. People are going to cry to me about stuff and lie to me about stuff and everything in between. Every single morning when I wake up, I know that's what is coming on my phone. And so I try to stay calm in the chaos. I do stay calm in the chaos, even when there's tornadoes and hurricanes. Mm-hmm. And I've forced myself to eat often. I don't necessarily have like big, heavy meals, but I do try to incorporate food into every situation. I carry snacks with me everywhere. So there's literally 5 snacks sitting behind this right now.
What are they?
It's mostly those, the how do you call them? Like the fig bars. They have like a strawberry, blueberry, raspberry. I typically focus on the snacks that are easy to eat that I can have anywhere at any time. So they're with me on every airplane, every flight, every drive. And it's important because it's really easy for 4 hours to become 7, become 10. You're like, wait a minute, I didn't have breakfast or lunch. And so that part is important to me. And then I incorporate fun or charity or things that I like into every business. So if you ever notice when I talk about sports cards, restaurants, it doesn't matter what my company is, speaking events, business events, everything has a charity component.
Yes.
So by doing that, it makes it fun for me and it makes it more spiritual aligned for me. And so in literally my coaching, my masterminds, everything has a charity component. The animal sanctuary, everything I do, there's a charity component to it. And that to me makes it more exciting for me and more emotional for me to want to do it. So by having those different functions, when something is hard or I'm building something or there's chaos or there's problems or there's lawsuits or there's liars or there's all these different things, there's different components of why I'm doing it. I'm either creating a bunch of jobs, raising a lot of money for charity, or doing something that I enjoy. And by doing that, it helps me stay calm in the chaos.
Mm-hmm. Heart-driven mission is what I'm hearing. And everyone that we follow who talks about you speaks so highly of you. Mm-hmm. Your integrity, your heart. And it speaks a lot when the people closest to you and not closest to you have a great interaction with you. Like, you are impeccable with your word is what I've learned. Has it always been that way from a young age since you became an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I just learned early because I started my company at 17, and by 18 we did 1 million. By 19 we did 9.5 million. And a lot of people would screw us over or overcharge us, or a lot of things were happening because we were kids. And so I just learned early, watching what people do and how it impacted me, and how them screwing me over, or them lying about something, or them not shipping something, or them overinflating things. That's why I'm so blunt about the truth, about math and facts. If someone says, I do 5 million in sales, but they actually do 3, they don't realize that 3 million is still cool. Like, the truth is cool. Good. Like, and I dealt with a lot of people that overinflated things that then led to problems when, we always needed more capital or more situation. Anyways, the point was, I learned early to be very, very clear and straightforward and focused and blunt with people around me.
Yeah. And I feel that in any interview you do as well. Like, you're very clear and, like you say, calm in the chaos. Like, everything is very calm. Like, I keep thinking, like, he's going to tell us he meditates, he does yoga, he does breath work every day. But do you think it's just your personality that's kind of who you've always been? Or do you feel like something kind of made you that calm force that's able to be honest and communicate effectively?
There was a couple of things that impacted my life that made me realize that nothing matters. Like the business problems, the situations, the things that happen from humans, like, that doesn't really matter to me, because I've had a lot of people pass away, and I've had a lot of situations where tragedies have happened. And so I think about, like, oh, my hotel room's not ready for 4 hours. Some people get mad about that. Oh, my flight got delayed for 2 hours. People get infuriated. These are things that happen as part of natural course, especially when you travel a lot or deal with a lot of people. And so I think about, like, I spent time in some third world countries, and you think about, they're never going to have a cell phone or electricity or running water. So how am I going to complain about a hotel room or a flight? Like, that they could never dream of even affording ever, when 1 out of 4 humans on the planet can never afford that. That's scary, like, when you think about it. And so I just think about the reality of humanity, if you will, of, like, I hit the DNA lottery, that I'm not living in a third world country, although I was born in outskirts. I'm not living in a third world country, so I'm already beat out 1 out of 4. I can afford more than $38,000 a year, so now I beat out a huge percent of the population. Like, I think about the DNA lottery of, like, how blessed or gifted I am in this scenario, that how dare I complain about anything? And so that's what's been stuck in my head, is that when I've had very close people pass away, how am I going to sit and get mad when someone spills a drink, or someone messes up, or someone's late by 20 minutes? Like, I don't get mad about these things. I know they're part of life.
Yeah. And that's something you and I have in common. I lost a few friends really young, and it changes you. It changes your perspective on everything. And I love that you talk about it, because it's something hard. It's something emotional. It's something raw, and it shifts your perspective for life. And I'm curious about, that experience. And I've heard you talk about death in different ways too, where you talk about how it even, like, you don't have imposter syndrome, because when you're looking at people in a crowd, they're not going to be at your funeral. So you're like, okay, never going to see you again. And so I've heard a few of the ways that you've used that to kind of benefit your businesses, or benefit your confidence, or help you with mindset. I'm curious, like, other ways that you feel like going through that has kind of alchemized into your success, or healthy relationships, or anything else that you've experienced.
Yep. I would think about the way that humans react and how humans act. And if someone has repetitive behavior, or someone's going to do something that is expected because it's of their nature, or because it's natural for them to do it, it's hard for me to want to get upset about it. When, let's say that you're dating a girl or hanging out with a guy, and they're late every single time. After the 3rd or 4th time, it's kind of your fault that you're getting upset when you know that they're. You just have to start lying and saying 8:30 instead of 9.
Be smarter.
You have to say, but, like, getting upset the first or second time, I get it, because it's like, you don't like when someone's late. But once you realize that that's part of their habit, it's on you if you're going to let them control your emotions by doing something that you're not going to change. Unfortunately, you're just not going to fix them. And a lot of people like to try to fix, bad boys, or, like, it's just, they're not going to change. And so I think about human behavior a lot of, like, if I know that I had through an event and it's 9 in the morning, people are going to be late, I don't put my best speaker on at 9 in the morning first, because I know people are going to trickle in by 9:25. So like, I just think about human behavior of things that I'm not going to change, that I'd like to change them. I'd obviously like to make them on time, or I'd like to make them pay attention, or I'd like to make them not look at their cell phones when you've got David Goggins screaming at you. Like, they're there to learn from that person. They're looking at their cell phone. I don't like it, but also I'm not going to change that human's behavior. And so I don't try to, what do you call it? Like put a square peg in a round hole, whatever. Like, I just like, I don't try to do that, because that's not what I'm here on this earth for, right? I'm here to save the planet, and I have certain ways to do that. And so I'm not going to waste my time trying to fix things that are, natural human behavior.
I love that. Speaking of saving the planet, let's dive into that. That is a huge mission, your number one mission.
And not even just a phrase. Like, he legit is trying to save the planet.
Like we're not kidding,
no,
actually.
like tangible ways.
Let's talk about it. What are you doing right now?
Yep.
Let the people know.
So my goal is to get very wealthy and very famous, not for wealth or fame.
Dre, tell the people as fast as you can why Move with Gold Ivy is the last mind-body fitness program they'll ever have to buy, and how women are finally getting the transformation they're looking for.
I love a challenge. Let's go. 2 big things. 1, Move provides a fun atmosphere to work out in that actually gets you excited to show up and follow through with your goals. Not only is there an element of fun, but we've carefully curated a program that makes it as easy as possible for women to take care of themselves. And 2, a Move membership addresses every aspect of your health, mind and body. Our Move members are getting the physical transformation they've been hoping for and feeling like they've finally found the group that motivates them on a daily basis. What did I miss?
As a Move member, you receive a weekly workout plan, weekly live or Zoom workouts, an on-demand workout library, transformational quarterly reset challenges, monthly coaching calls, monthly masterminds with health experts, and a private group of motivated members for support and accountability.
It's ready for you when you're ready to boost your metabolism, confidence, and feel your absolute best. Join Move or learn more by clicking the link in the show notes, clicking the link in our bio on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, or by messaging us on any social channel at Gold Ivy Health Co.
It's your time. Move for your health, move for your confidence, move for your mental clarity, move with Gold Ivy. Keeping the flu and common cold out of your household is important whether you're 5, 35, or 95, and we're going to tell you the easiest and most delicious way to do just that. It's with All Things Elderberry, a woman-owned business that has all-natural, vegan-friendly, and gluten-free elderberry products.
And when we say products, we mean a variety of delicious and beautiful products, not just for you, but for your entire household to get an immunity boost. If we had to pick our favorite product, I'm going with organic elderberry gummies. My kids are obsessed. We're trying to avoid sickness from school and make sure they can participate in their sports. So they take one every morning before they brush their teeth. They think the gummies taste like a mix of grape and cotton candy. I tried them too, and I can see why they ask for them every day. I love that they're boosting their immune system at the start of their day.
My favorite All Things Elderberry product is the elderberry green tea paired with the elderberry honey. The green tea gives me a midday boost, and the honey gives the tea extra sweetness. I also put the honey in my morning coffee instead of creamer. So good. All Things Elderberry is my solution for staying healthy before traveling, avoiding frequent colds and sinus infections, really just maintaining my health all year round.
What sets this brand apart from the others is there are no artificial additives in All Things Elderberry. Their elixir is made with organic, Missouri-grown elderberries, raw honey, and whole spices.
Elderberries not only help with immune support, but may also slow the aging process with their powerful antioxidants, improve skin health, and can shorten the duration of severity of colds and flu.
Visit allthingselderberry.com to explore their full range of immune-supporting products. Stay healthy and feel your best naturally. Use our code GOLDIVY at checkout for 15% off your first order. That's code GOLDIVY at checkout for 15% off your first order.
I know it sounds weird for most people, but like, I don't care about the money because my life won't change and I don't buy stuff. And I don't care about the fame because I don't have the ego part of that. For that, I care about the function of both. I need people to trust me to fix the few things that humans need in society. And when you really think about it, there's 3 core things. It's food, water, shelter. Now, of course, people need love. They need this, they need that. Those are things that they need or want. But what they actually need to survive is food, water, shelter. the water part, Charity Water is doing a really good job. I'd rather just donate to them. I don't want to try to I don't say compete with them, but I want to try to do something different than someone that's already really good at it for many years. But the food and shelter part are both very fixable. On the food side, you just look at how much waste does grocery stores, Costco, and every major chain get rid of every single day. Not every week, every month, every day. You're talking about billions of pounds of food. In a lot of states and cities, it's illegal to give that food away. So I want to be able to fix that very simple, obvious problem of just the sheer amount of waste that happens from restaurants, from grocery stores, from big chains like Costco, Walmart, Target, etc. On the shelter side, there's also ways to fix it where right now we can't change human behavior. You've seen some of the news articles about like Los Angeles spent $70 zillion to build 100 apartments, and it cost them like 1.3 million per apartment for some stupid reason. That should be only like 100 grand or 200 grand a unit. And then out of the 125 units, only like 12 people live in there because most of them leave because they want to stay homeless. I know it sounds crazy, but a lot of times homeless people prefer to live on the street for some reason. There's a way to fix that I've come up with that's essentially like a jail, except it's not a jail. It's building a whole city that's in a jail format, and men are on one side, women on the other side, families on one side, and criminals or people that are addicted to drugs are on one side for rehab. And so you're separating the four from each other. There's communal places where they can meet, but obviously there's security for that. And you build a city where they can work, learn, grocery stores, go to school, etc., so that they can be rehabilitated to go back into society with money and not just go back onto the street. Basically building a prison that I don't want the connotation of prison to be there, but effectively you're forcing people to get better. And the people that can't get better, they live there in perpetuity until they can, or they just end up living there, whatever. And in that fashion, it would help save cities tens of billions of dollars from crime, from cleanup, and all the security, all the things that they spend a lot of money on by having these prison-type locations nearby, these cities. And so in order to do that, it's very expensive. You're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars to build, maybe $1 billion to build, for example. But it's peanuts compared to how much you could help an entire town or entire city. And so these are two of the, not just visions, I need to prove to the world that I can execute on it, and I don't want anything for it. That's why I throw the world's largest toy drive for 11 years in a row, Thanksgiving food drives, backpacks for the homeless, the tipping dinners, the clothing giveaways. I'm showcasing charity over and over and over without ever asking for money, and I'm putting in millions of dollars of my own money every single year. So be very, very clear to people, I have no interest in making money from doing these charity efforts. I will put my own money where my mouth is, and how I can effectively do it year after year and get bigger and bigger and bigger. So when it does come time to say, hey, rich friend or 80 rich friends, I want to open up a free grocery store. I need you to send me 100K each. Well, they'll do it in a heartbeat because they trust in my intentions.
That is so cool. I just want to take a second for your brain. Like your brain, it's unbelievable. And I was talking with Brooke about this because a lot of people are visionaries and they have like these creative ideas all the time. But you're also a solutionist. Like you execute. You're very involved in your businesses. You're so involved in these charities.
Like how many businesses do you have? Just to give people a picture.
So I'm an angel investor in 43 companies, but I run and operate 7 companies. And then there's 6 that I'm actively chairman, but I don't operate.
So 56.
Yeah.
And you've got your hands in most, if not all of them.
I'm on the group chat for every single thing I just mentioned, yes.
Yeah, so that's what we're curious about because your brain is doing so much all the time and it's creative. It's not just like you built these things and now you're doing the things. You're constant, like that idea of helping with homelessness is like so dynamic and so many moving pieces and you're solving so many problems with a few thoughts. So I'm curious, does your brain get tired? Is it always going? Do you have an attention disorder? Can you lock in? Tell us about your brain a little bit here.
Yes. So I don't have attention deficit disorder. I do like to do multiple things, not necessarily all at the exact same time. Because I do like to hyper-focus. Like text messages are coming in while we're talking right now. I process it, but I don't need to respond to them. So I know that they're there. I'd like to respond to them, but I can still have a very focused discussion. If I were to start texting those people back while we're talking, then obviously no one can have 100% focus when they're doing other things. So I don't believe in multitasking simultaneously. I believe in multitasking, but not at the exact same moment. So I process all these things and I try to compartmentalize them into the different things in my life. This is for family. This is for friends. This is for business. This is for charity. This is for XYZ. Like, there's so many different variables and moving parts of my world. And I also try to take time, I call it time blocking, where I just do that for a little bit, right? Like, just respond to all your friends that you haven't talked to this week. Okay, send them a message. Here's 20 minutes. Just respond to all the investors into Cards and Coffee because this new update happened. Make sure you send an email or text to those investors. Oh, Everbowl is about to open their 98th location. It's almost time for 100 locations. Text all the Everbowl investors and say, hey, guess what? Number 100 is coming in a week and a half. And like, I will time block certain things of my life to make sure that it doesn't like fade away where I haven't talked to my friends in 5 weeks or I haven't talked to the Cards and Coffee investors in 3 months. Like, I don't let those things, I don't want to call it stack up, but like pile up in the background. And so I will time block and catch up on things a lot.
Love it. Okay, cool. Well, it's like you watch what you're doing, you hear what you're doing, but then to tangibly know how it's done. And you're talking about Cards and Coffee, which you're partnered up with Mark Wahlberg for this business venture, correct?
He's not an owner yet. We did a TV show together there, and we did charity there.
Okay.
And his kids train there, but he doesn't have equity. If you want some equity and you're watching, Mark, I'll text you.
What up, Mark Wahlberg? But I want to talk about your network, and you're brilliant, right? Like, you want to raise this money and you have a lot of money for these beautiful purposes, these beautiful missions, right? And I've heard you say your network is your net worth, and it makes absolute sense. You get people in a room, they have to spend $100,000 to be in there, and they get so much value, right? Just like proximity. But I want you to talk about, because like not everybody that's listening is an entrepreneur. A lot are moms, young professionals, mostly women. And I just want you to talk about the importance of your network, whether it's professional or personal, just like how important that is into the life that you want to live.
So when people ask me the famous podcast question, what's your superpower? My answer always is my cell phone. Because whether I want to get restaurant reservations or buy a restaurant, it's a text message away. And so meeting people over the course of your life, that's why, you know, when people say about going to college, the one thing about college is the people you meet there, right? And most people don't need college for most careers, but those 4 years of networking and building relationships, those can change your life. There's a lot more ways to fast forward that nowadays that college isn't as important for networking because most of our lives, they didn't have business conferences, events, all these social media platforms, meetups, hangouts. Like, you didn't have ways to meet people the way you do now compared to in the past. I would say everybody should go to college 10, 15 years ago. But now with the, invention of a smartphone and live events and business conferences, it's not as needed from the networking perspective. The people that you meet over the course of your life, I can fast forward anything, right? If I want to start a clothing brand, I can text the manufacturer, the web designer, the trademark attorney, the banking manager, everything that involves in starting a clothing line, I could do before this podcast airs tomorrow. Like, all of it. I could have a live website with the manufacturer lined up, trademark attorney submitted, corporations sent, everything. I could have a design contest happening and getting 600 submissions of designers all over the world for free. Like, I could have the clothing brand designed today before this podcast airs. That's how fast it is nowadays. And that comes from networking and understanding humans. And so if I didn't know the manufacturer, or if I didn't know the web designer, if I didn't know those people, I'm going to now take 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months of figuring out who are the good people. And so the reason I can start so many companies and help invest in a lot of businesses, et cetera, is because of my network. So if you own Icon Meals and I can say, hey, why don't you meet this person? They'll help you scale this. And hey, I want you to get on QVC, meet this person from QVC. I can now help these businesses. Those are a text message away. And so the most important thing you can do over the course of your life is meet people along the way, find the people that you like, that you're attracted to, that you want to work with, filter through the people in each of the major categories, and nurture those relationships over the course of your life. Because I'm not just saying to meet people so that you can ask them for stuff. Meet people to do things for them, hang out with them, build relationships so that when you do ask them for stuff, they will respond. It's a very big difference of knowing a lot of people and people knowing you. Humongous difference. You can network and meet thousands of people. It doesn't mean they're going to respond when you text them, hey, will you come to my charity event? It's a big difference of people that you text and actually say, will you do something like show up somewhere, post about something, donate to a charity, etc. Just because they know you have your phone number does not mean they're going to react. And so I nurture my relationships for years and years and years, and I'm interacting with people so that when I do say, hey, I'm in your city for a toy drive, they show up with a truckload.
That's amazing. How do you manage that? So now you're uber successful. You have all of these events, all of these charities, everything going on, and you're constantly interacting with so many people. Like, you're a big events guy. And so people want to know you. They want to be a part of what you're doing. I can't even imagine you could time block 8 hours to respond to people in emails. And so does your team help you with that? Do you struggle with getting back to people? Like, do you have guilt about not getting back to people? Like, how are you managing that?
So mathematically, I stopped being guilty a couple years ago.
Say more.
I do 800 text messages per day, which
800.
is 24,000 a month, 300,000 a year. And that's not an exaggeration. That's an actual math. That's actual on my phone bill. And so I became unemotional when I can't respond to, hey, how are you? Hey, what are you up to? Hey, what are you doing? Hey, what's the address? The flyer says the address. The website says the address. You know how I'm doing. I post about it every day. Like, I hate to be crude or rude about it, but it's mathematically impossible for me to respond to every, hey, how are you? Now, if my mom sent that or you sent, like a friend sent that, okay, that's different.
Oh, we're in, Brooke. We're in. Yes, we're going to be texting Dan every day.
But for the most part, I know that in my heart, I want to respond to as many people as I can. But I said that about text messages. What about emails, WhatsApp, Telegram, DMs, Zoom calls, podcast requests, phone calls, in-person meetings? The math is insane, right? And so I became unemotional to the fact that it is not physically possible for me to interact with everyone or respond to everything or go to everything. And if someone is having a birthday party or a wedding, I want to be there, but I am unemotional if I cannot make it. Unless it's like my innermost family. And even then, sometimes I've had to be like, hey, I'm in London. There's many, many years that like the only person, no matter what I did, was for my grandfather. Right? Like, I would be in London, I would fly in for my grandfather's birthday, and I'd fly back. Literally, I would fly 14 hours each way for him, right? Or my mom. But outside of that, like, if you're having a birthday party, I will see you next year, hopefully. And if I can't, I'll see you the year after that, hopefully. Like, I will be there if I could, but I am not emotional to the fact that I can't physically make it when I'm trying to save the world. And when I come to your birthday party, I'm not that exciting. I'm an introvert. So like, I'll be there, but like, we're going to take one photo, we're going to have one drink together. And it's really like not that big of a tragedy if I don't make it. And so I would like to be there for those things, but I've missed a lot of weddings. I've missed a lot of, birthday parties, a lot of things that are fun social things that I just physically cannot go to all of them. It's not mathematically possible when you've got thousands of connections. And as people are growing through their personal brands and there's more ways to build up your personal brand, you're going to have a lot of people requesting you to come over and hang out and go to pizza and go to this and go to that. And you have to make decisions for yourself about your time, your significant other, your children, your friends, your family, and your own mental health of like, what are you going to do?
I love that reframe. What do you have the capacity for? And just because you say no doesn't mean you don't care. Doesn't mean your heart's not in it. I'm curious, you being a new father, congratulations.
Thank you.
How has that shifted? How you are managing your time and time blocking and now a whole new thing to make time for.
So I'm really excited for when she can actually go with me, right? I want her to be able to go on tour with me. I'm, physically flying back and forth to be there. Obviously, there's not as much I can do right now as a baby because I don't breastfeed, and I'm not allowed to hold the baby most of the time because she's always actively being cleaned or eating, etc. So I like to be there and I like to hold her as much as I can, but there's not much for me to do in the early stages. And so I'm less emotional than I thought I would be. Like, I'm happy that it's happening. But I'm still traveling, and I thought I was going to cut back even more, but I'm just doing it in spurts. I'm flying in for a day or two, flying right back, flying for a day or two, fly right back. She's driving here to see me later this afternoon. Like, so when I'm traveling, I had to go somewhere to a different city. they're coming to me the next 2 days. And so like I'm incorporating into my life to make sure I spend time. But now when she's a toddler, like it's going to be hard to get me to want to leave, right? If she can't go with me, it's going to be a much different scenario.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. And she's so beautiful. I love her name, Ariana Ocean. So beautiful. How'd you come up with the name?
So I've always wanted the name Ariana, and Erica always wanted the name Ocean. And so it's a pretty easy negotiation because like Ocean Ariana doesn't work. So
it's beautiful. I love
What values are you hoping to instill in her as she grows?
So the whole concept of the baby girl boss, the Instagram name I have for her, is I want to bring more women into events, podcasting, business, investing, and all the things. And I think she's a good conduit to that because she's going to be on tour. She's going to grow up at 42 events a year, and she's going to be at all my speaking events, etc. And so I would like her to do that. And obviously at some point when she wants to go be a ballerina or go be an astronaut, God bless her, she can do whatever, and she didn't have to come to these business things. But along the way, as long as she's happy to be there, I'm going to take her with me and try to incorporate her into these things. So ultimately, I want her to be able to choose her own adventure as we go through this life together. And she's going to see a lot of whirlwinds, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of roller coasters, a lot of different cities. And, but we have a long time. She's a baby. So like my goal is I don't know what I'll be doing when she's in high school, right? When she's in high school, I'll be like almost 60. So that'll be a big difference. I'm not going to fly around the planet when I'm 57, right? When she's a sophomore in high school. So I just think about the life transition. My goal is just month by month, go through the stages of her life, incorporate her into my social media, into her social media, and have fun with it. And then at any point she doesn't want to do it or doesn't want to travel, or Erica doesn't want her to travel, no problem. Whatever they want to do as we grow through this life together. But over the course of time, I will not be speaking at 100 events a year and throwing 42 events a year. I won't physically do that for a lot of reasons. Right now, it's building my mission. I'm collecting people. And by going speaking in front of thousands of people a week, those people become part of my world. And so ultimately, I'm still on full tour mode until further notice.
I feel like with timing, there's no coincidences in my mind. And I feel like you have built something so beautiful by the time that she's here on this planet. It's really cool to think like you can show her like before you were here what you did, and then having this mindset of we're going to figure this out in each new chapter. I mean, I have 3 little kids, and it's like you don't know what kind of parent you're going to be 6 months from now, or what they're going to need, or what that's going to look like. So it's cool that you're open-minded to that. And I keep thinking about how she straight up she's born into her own zoo. You have an animal sanctuary, which we saw is moving, and this is so fascinating. This is another one of those things that like you have an idea, you have a passion, you have a heart for something, and then you create it. And so for the people that have no idea about you and your love for animals, can you talk about what you've created and where it's at right now?
So the animal sanctuary has 209 animals. It's called Wild Jungle. It's not open to the public. It's a place where I like animals a lot. But the real Tarzan, he lives there, and he's getting like 200 million views a month on social media, making animal content for many years. And so I moved him to come live with me and build this brand together called Wild Jungle. And it's been amazing. And so at some point I'd like to do the same thing in Las Vegas or another city. But for right now, it's been there for the last 26 months, in Temecula. And we just make a lot of great content, and it's a lot of fun there. We raise a lot of money for other people's animal sanctuaries. We donate to other animal sanctuaries. And it's just been a really fun experience. We have a wide array of animals, and it's kind of my peace. When you talk about the mental health part, my phone does not come out for an hour or two when I'm feeding them. It's actually the only time of the day when my hands are messy because I'm carrying carrots and sweet potatoes and lettuce and, whatever. And so watermelon is very sticky, so I don't touch my phone. So that's my escape when I'm feeding the animals, and that's my fun when I'm giving the tours to friends.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it just makes your content just multifaceted. I mean, you want business tips, Dan's your guy. He could talk your face off about it. You want to see some pigs and zebras and ostriches run around, like it's amazing. And now you're a father, like following you is such a wild ride and full of value and full of like you're just making the world a better place. So let the people know, if they don't already follow you, where they can find you.
So all my social media is the same. It's just at Dan Fleyshman, Fleyshman. It's also important for people that are out there, make all your bios the same, your photos the same, make all your screen names the same.
Have that consistency. And that's one thing you are, Dan, consistent. I will say that. Everyone who has talked about you, spoke so highly of you, they were right. We're so honored that we got to share this time with you. We leave our listeners with 3 top tips. 3 gold stars is what we call them, based on our conversation today, or just where your heart's at. I'm curious what you would leave listeners with.
Number 1, just get started. We all have these ideas in our minds of things that we want to do or could do or should do, or we talk with our friends like, one day we'll do that. Just do it. Just get started. It's way easier now than ever to create a website, get your social media handles, set up your corporation, get all the things to set up shop to start a business. Web design, graphic design, manufacturing, everything's so much cheaper, fast, free, etc. We have so much more access to it. So just get started. Number 2, this too shall pass. Like the concept of like, oh my God, the world is ending and this is going to happen. Look, our country has gotten through a lot. You know, like we've been through depressions and recessions and the whole world shut down and no one can go outside and we can't talk to each other. We can't eat here. Like we've gone through a lot, and guess what? We're fine, right? We're going to get through it. And are there going to be some struggles along the way? Of course. People love drama. The media loves it, but this too shall pass. And third is, when you're really thinking about your life, like who do you want around you? Like who do you want to be with you? And the things that you don't like, you have to cut them off. And too often we drag out relationships where we're dating the bad guy, we're dating the girl that's mad at us, we fight all the time, and year 2 becomes year 4, year 4 becomes year 6, and then you lost your good years. Like you lost the years that you could be running around in your 20s or 30s or 40s that like, because you were stuck in these things. And so I ripped the Band-Aid off of a bad business, a bad relationship, a bad friendship. And when I rip it off, it's done. And I am not sad about it. I can talk about it very clearly. Like if I said I'm going to stop this business, I stopped it. And I'm not shy about it. If I said I'm not going to do this, this, and this, I stopped it. I'm not going to do that thing again. There's friends that I've had to do the same thing with that I like them, but they changed a lot, or they became negative, or I saw them, they did some really bad things or became very polarizing. Okay, well, I just ripped the Band-Aid off. And so in life, if you can do that, you'll save yourself a lot of time, headache, and more importantly, you leave space for the good business, the good relationship, the good friendships that can come in, because you're not wasting your time with the bad ones.
Oh, that's such great advice. You open up room for the good. I love that idea. All right, and next are 3 surprise questions, unleashing Ivy. Ivy grows in hard places, so we just, curious cats over here thinking about things, and you teed me up perfectly for my question because, when you're talking about your network and your people, when we had Roger on, who we adore Roger, and the episode was so beautiful, he got pretty choked up talking about you. And he was saying, I'm going to get choked up thinking about it. He is just so in tune with life right now and his vision. And it's beautiful. And it speaks to his relationship with you because you're really influential in his life. And he loves how you are so genuine. And I know someone that's been really influential for you, and you mentioned your grandfather. And I'm curious about that relationship. I'm a mom, and I'm always thinking about how to cultivate something like that where, like, my kids would want to fly somewhere in, or I've made that big of an impact on their life. And so I'm curious how your grandfather did that for you and what that relationship was like as you grew up.
He was my superhero growing up. And he was teaching Yiddish, teaching a language until his 92 years old, right? Like he cared about something so much. He was with the same woman for 60-ish years, right? Like maybe more, 7 years. Like, and so those are things that I aspire to, that I could have that one long love, that one business or career or passion and he stayed true to it no matter what. He would, whether he had to ride a bicycle, whether he had to go, whatever he had to do to get to work, to go teach the language, he did it no matter what. Even when he was sick, even when he didn't feel well, he did it every day. He also, on the health side, he was swimming every single day. And the consistency of someone who's 80 years old, then 85, then 90 years old. 90 years old, he was still swimming every day, and he looked like he was 70 because of it. And so I just think about just the consistency of him in my life since I was a baby, just watching him always being stern, always being focused, always reading, always working, reading some more, going to work, the household, like he just ran it the way I would wish I could be like. And so just watching him over the years, by the way, never had any deep conversations my whole life. He was very stern. He was very quiet, similar to my style. And like, so it's not like we were going to sit there and have some long emotional discussions. Like that never happened, not even a little bit. But what I watched of him, right? That's what people talk about, like your kids do as you do, not as you say. Mm-hmm. He was the proof of that, because he didn't say much to me. He just did it over and over for 40 years,
Yeah, those kids are always watching, and you don't know what they'll take. I think speaking true to who you are, showing up, doing the work, building the relationships, having that mission-driven work, like the legacy you're leaving, how blessed Ariana is. I'm excited to see where it goes, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Dan, about your creativity. You are on the road, you're traveling, you're on your phone, always go, go, go. Where are you? When are the times where you're most creative, when you get these downloads?
The shower and the poker table.
Oh,
okay.
The shower, because there's no cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
And so my brain is still spinning while I'm in there. So some showers that could be 6 minutes end up being 40 minutes because I'm just there, right? I'm not doing anything. I'm just there, and my brain is spinning. And my phone is not even in the bathroom. I don't even take it into the bathroom, so I don't see it light up.
Smart.
And then the poker table is my one, like, where my fun escape is. My cell phone is active with me during that time, but usually poker's at nighttime, so there's less text messages at nighttime. And so poker to me has been a fun escape for the last 25 years, playing it, because I just enjoyed the game. And all my family members played poker they owned a small, tiny casino, like a 2-table casino. They were dealers when they first moved to America. Like, poker was part of my family growing up. And so that's my one escape, is I wanted to be really, really, really good at the game because my family was in it, right? Mm-hmm. My family grew up in it, and I wanted to, like, show them I could do it.
My brother's a poker player, professional online poker player. Fun fact. Wow. Yeah, I saw some of your posts about it, and it's so interesting to think about how that is, again, something that was so important with your family, your values, and then you made a business out of it. And That's a whole nother story. But last question, if you could go back to little Dan, any age, really, I guess it doesn't have to be little, it could be yesterday if you want, but if you could go back to your younger self and tell him something, what age would he be and what would you tell him?
18 years old, sign contracts with everyone, including your mom.
Ooh. Can you expand on that?
And it's not that you're going to sue your mom. It's two things. It's a scope of work, an SOW, scope of work, or MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. And the reason for that is you could talk to your mom, and I'll give you a quick example. You could talk to your mom and you think one thing and she thinks the other, and you could have cleared it up by just having the scope of work or Memorandum of Understanding. And so, quick example is, let's say little Dan is 13 years old, and he's like, oh, I'm going to clean my room, Mom. I'm going to clean my room this week. Will you pay me on Friday? And she's like, yeah, of course. And so I go to clean my room Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday morning. And then I show up expecting her to give me $25, $5 a day for cleaning my room. I get to that meeting with my mom, and she hands me $5. And she pats me on the head like, good job, buddy. And I'm like frustrated with her, like, what are you talking about? It's $25. And she's looking at me like it should be $0. And all that could have been fixed by just having, hey, Mom, I'm going to do it for $5 a day. And she's like, yeah, right. I'll give you $5 for the week. And so telling people with clarity what you're going to do and what you expect from them. And you do that in a one-pager. And by doing that, you remove trying to be mind readers, or you guessing what they're going to do, or they guess what you're going to do. And if you need to show or prove to anybody else, whether that's a judge or a friend or an investor or a partner or a client or vendor, an employee, you've got it on this one pager. And so I would say, it's an 18-year-old Dan, sign contract with everyone, including your mom.
Get the contract.
I love too. I just looking at all your content too. I'm always thinking like you're such a effective communicator, and it's all about honesty. Like those are some like the big things that I saw. Like You can answer any question about anything. You're very honest, and it's like a clear-cut answer, which is wonderful. And so we are just so grateful that we had time with you. We're so thankful that we got in your little time blocking process of your day. We know it's so valuable, the work you're doing. You're literally saving the world. We are grateful that someone like you with your values exists, with the capacity that you have. Like, you are superhuman, and the fact that those are your missions is so beautiful and exciting and hopeful that people like you exist. And so we're unbelievably grateful that you spent time with us today, and that we can elevate it even more. So thank you so much.
I appreciate it. I'm going to go get my phone back in the freezer.
Will you do the honors of just signing off with a piece of gold? A quote that speaks to you.
My name is Dan Fleyshman. I appreciate you guys listening to this podcast today. And remember what I said earlier, just get started.
This is Gold Ivy signing off.
Listen to your truth and go chase your gold. We want to thank you and encourage you to celebrate yourself for taking the time to learn and get inspired in your one beautiful life. And if this podcast means something to you, it would mean so much to us if you'd be willing to take 30 seconds to help support our mission to keep bringing you inspiring stories and guests.
First, following the podcast is important because it helps you never miss an episode. To do this, just go to the Ivy Unleashed podcast show page on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and then just tap the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner or click on follow.
While you're there, if you'd be so kind to give us a 5-star rating and review and share your favorite episode with a friend, we'd be so grateful for your support.
We are thrilled you're here and are so happy that you're taking time to prioritize your wellness, self-discovery, and growth with us.